Hello, my name is Kevin Richards and I'm a practicing bankruptcy attorney for over 25 years here in northern Utah. Today we're going to talk about a Chapter 13 bankruptcy and how it might benefit you. A lot of people come to me because they are behind on their mortgage payment by more than 4 or 5 months. In fact, their mortgage company has already filed a notice of default against them, seeking to foreclose against the property. A Chapter 13 bankruptcy is particularly useful in this type of situation. A Chapter 13 bankruptcy is a repayment of your debt. It doesn't mean all of your debt, but at least a portion as it relates to your unsecured debt, which is credit card debt, medical bills, and other types of consumer transactions. In order to file a bankruptcy, we have to verify your income. So we're going to require pay stubs for the last 6 months just prior to the filing of your bankruptcy. For both you and if you're filing with your spouse, her or his pay stubs as well. With those pay stubs, we come up with a monthly average to determine whether or not you are over or under median or average income for your size family living in the state of Utah. That test will tell us how much we have to pay back to your unsecured creditors. Think of it as the old Lucky Charms commercial and that pot of gold. Well, sometimes that pot of gold might not have a lot of money in it. A lot of times that means test would tell us that you don't have to contribute anything back towards your unsecured creditors. So in those situations, we either create a base plan that if there is any money left over after we've paid some of your secured debt, and your mortgage arrearages, then that additional money is turned over towards your unsecured creditors. Other times we just designate an amount, such as $500, which will be paid over the course of your Chapter 13 bankruptcy. And that's the amount that the creditors, the medical bills, the credit card people are going to get. In other words, pennies on the dollar. So what happens in a Chapter 13 bankruptcy is we create a plan. And in that plan, we provide for the attorney's fees that are going to be paid in the plan for the help that you are getting in your Chapter 13 bankruptcy. We'll figure out what the mortgage arrearage is going to be and how much that monthly payment needs to be. And a lot of times people end up putting their cars or automobiles inside that Chapter 13 plan. Inside meaning that when you make this one payment to the Chapter 13 trustee, he will make those monthly payments to all of those creditors that are inside that plan. Once we know what the total amount needs to be, we then calculate what your payment is going to be. And that's pretty simple. We take the total amount that needs to be paid and we divide it anywhere between 36 months, which is 3 years, the minimum amount of time that a person can be in a Chapter 13, to 60 months, which is the maximum time, or 5 years. Quite often, I like to take my plans and calculate them at 54 months, leaving about 6 months worth of breathing room. The reason why? It results in a fairly low payment compared to a 36-month payment, and it's been my experience that many times through a Chapter 13, the client has sometimes a month or two where it's hard for them to make that monthly payment to the trustee, and therefore we can ask for an abatement of the payment and not have that increase their monthly payment. After the Chapter 13 case is filed, if you're in mortgage foreclosure proceedings, that is all stopped due to the automatic stay. And the creditor will then file a proof of claim indicating how much is in arrears for your bankruptcy, which we then calculate how we're going to pay that over the course of your plan. There's what's called a meeting of creditors that you will need to attend, where you will meet with the Chapter 13 trustee. The trustee will go over your budget to make sure that you can afford that plan payment that you promised to make each month. He's also going to review that plan payment to make sure that it is at a sufficient amount to pay what we say we're going to pay over the course of your bankruptcy. After that, he might have other questions concerning your bankruptcy and your budget. A lot of those questions are directed at your attorney. The reason why is we're trying to create as much benefit to you as we possibly can. Sometimes the trustee pushes back. After that hearing, we have about 45 days in order to get those concerns of the trustee addressed. If they are addressed, Then the plan is submitted to be confirmed without objection. If not, then you have to meet and go to what is called a confirmation hearing. Confirmation of the plan is just a fancy legal term that means that your plan has been accepted by the bankruptcy court and that it was filed in good faith. The automatic stay, which is the inability of your creditors to pursue any further collection actions against you, also remains in effect during the course of your bankruptcy and during the time that you are making your bankruptcy payments. And if you complete your plan as you promised, then at the end, whatever is not paid back to your unsecured debt is discharged, just as if you had filed a Chapter 7. In addition, you will have a requirement to contribute tax refunds for the first 3 years filing of your bankruptcy. In most cases, people are entitled to receive or to keep the first $1,000 of their tax refund. For those who receive an earned income credit or a child tax credit, they're also entitled to keep up to $1,000 of that credit as well, for a total of $2,000. Any remaining amount would be turned over to the trustee. It has two effects. One, it can pay off your plan quicker, depending on whether the total amount of all claims filed, or secondly, it might provide an additional amount for the unsecured creditors that they would receive in your bankruptcy. Chapter 13 has some other benefits as well. For example, a lot of times people file bankruptcy thinking that they've got all of their problems behind them financially, only to find that shortly after they filed their Chapter 7 bankruptcy that they're in debt once again. With a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, you have some options that you wouldn't have in a Chapter 7. One of those options, for example, is that we can convert the Chapter 13 case to a Chapter 7, and at the time of conversion, any new debt that you have acquired from the filing date to the converted date or conversion date can be added to your bankruptcy. Other people find themselves with health concerns, and they will have ongoing medical problems. In those cases, we use the Chapter 13 almost as an insurance policy, where every 2 years they know that they're not ever going to have good credit again, so what they want though is peace of mind. So every couple of years we file a new Chapter 13 for them. We gather all of their medical bills that they have, we file the 13, we create a monthly payment of maybe $100 a month. The creditors don't bother them anymore. A couple of years later they might have new medical bills. We simply let the case dismiss by them not making their payments anymore, and as soon as it's dismissed we refile the new one with the new medical bills, and they continue on their life in peace. Chapter 13 bankruptcy is a complicated beast, and it's one that needs really professional help and advice. Again, my name is Kevin Richards. I've been a practicing bankruptcy attorney for 25 years. You can find out more about me and our firm at richardsgodfrey.com. Thank you.